We just have to give Zeke a couple minutes here to refuel back up on some slurp juice. We're jumping into this game a little bit deeper into the action, deeper into that early game drop spot already. It's game number 4 here. MonsterDFace, AussieAntics on the mic right now. We're tuned in with Illis and Bizzle, switching it up, landing at the ruins already and finding some early game action against Animal, and I'm assuming the rest of his team.
Yeah, it looks like they kind of rotated in here. They made a fast rotate too. They still got their 15 peppermints. So coming into the kind of what I was talking about earlier about Fortnite having a big upgrade to their loot at Sweaty Sands, but they're not really having a big upgrade as far as points. They had a good last game, but they got to continue that performance going forward. And this is a team that doesn't really have any set tempo or pacing, right? We've talked about Zayd's team always coming out super strong, and they don't finish slow, but it does slow down a little bit as more teams start to contest them. But this is a team that I don't really know their pacing. So I want to see a story of starting off slow, but finishing really strong. But looking like a duo is going to be a hard way to do it. Well played from Pegon. A decent little strategy there. I like that one. Throwing out the crash pad, breaking him up through the builds, and kind of maybe getting a little bit of a break. But unfortunately, like you said, the hip fire shot was just too strong and luck was not in their favor. Pegon gets the elimination, and Riversan goes down the feed, and so does Acorn, which is, again, unlucky for my prediction. Acorn and that not showing up big here today, unfortunately, and looks like this game is going to be the same. They're going to have to come back with either a big second half today or a big game tomorrow, because I haven't seen them struggling this much before once they make the finals.
Yeah, I really do think it contributes to teams like Xset not being there in the low ground to put that pressure up on all the height slash mid ground teams. I think it just changes that dynamic and allows for height to just do things, right, to all the other lobby players and force him down and just take players out. And that's why we're not seeing that consistency in the end game from the low ground teams. But ultimately, though, Dubs is going to be by himself, found by himself. Some early game mistakes here seems like it was made from Mega and Riverson. They only have one Elin, and you know, and that's kind of rough.
And we're talking about mistakes from Riversan. Sorry, Monster. I want to talk about this really quickly. I don't think a lot of people, unless you've been following NAE super closely, you may not have realized that Riversan was actually playing with Furious and Illest. They won basically every trio event coming into FNCS, but then out of nowhere, Riversan actually left to go play with Dubs and Mega. And at the time, looked like a decent decision. Still questionable because they were doing so well, but now has just not had the performance he obviously was expecting. He left the team where they were having guaranteed performance after performance to now play with a team where this is their first time in the finals, and same with Reese's prediction. I was expecting them to have their big game. They're just not.
Yeah, 100%. And even though they got taken out a little bit early in that end game, I mean, Ronaldo hit the best clip of the day by far. That sniper drive-by, like that was worth it in its own. So big W for them on that one. Here though, Mars, Next, and Crumbler trying to make do with this situation. And I just wanted to say, it's kind of crazy how just a minute like is a difference maker in how much placement, right? Ronaldo and company was alive for 23 minutes in the last game. That is as late into the game as you can get, but just a couple moments more, they would have had so much more points. So ridiculous to how far you can slip down the standings just off of a few seconds, a few moments of Fortnite.
Oh, Chelsea goes down here, and like I said, few seconds. It happens in endgame, but geez, it happens here in mid-game. I'm seeing 4 bodies down right now. This is a trio v trio v trio breaking out here in Mars. Next thing, Crumbler have the advantage, sorry, right now. Getting too excited. They're trying to find their way through this one if they can. Dress gets capitalized onto as well, and it looks like they just jump down and get all the freebie loot from this one. I thought after I saw 4 bodies go down, this was going to be a full all-on box fight, and looks like all the teams disengaged, jumped back up, and Skittles, Zum, and Ronaldo are nearby this one. And like you said, seconds is all it takes in Fortnite. When you got building, you got so many things like this, it's not like you're running out in the open. There's always those moments of who's behind the corner, who's behind the wall. Do they take the wall? Do they get the angle? And do they capitalize as Pledge now falls as well? And Avery and Booger looking in Jamper, looking like they're on the front foot as they're trying to take out this team who's backed up right against Storm. And no, it is Connor falling here right now. So Booger, Jamper, and Avery setting up for their big end game that they need with elimination on the board. 6 shockwaves, and Booger looking to make it 2 if he can. He's in the box, never mind though. The damage comes out and they do get the elimination, but that was way too close for Booger.
Definitely super close, and just like that, the Prac admin falls. And all of a sudden now Booga's up in a single elimination here. Jamper as well. These are, you know, some crucial elims right now, especially since they do have enough time to bounce all the way back. This zone is pulling so far, so they needed as much loot as possible now to get this rotate here. Guys, this is game 4 out of 6, so we are beyond the halfway mark, and now This is the backstretch of the last 3 games here for day number 1 in this qualifier here. Who is going to be able to break into that top 15? Who is going to see their way one step closer to heats to make grand finals? We already know that in good epic fashion, there's so much on the line here for the players. It's not just respect, it's the dollars as well.
Reverse taking down Slacks and defeating it is. There's money on the line even in these qualifiers as well. So it's not just about heats. Those teams that have already qualified have still got something to play for, whether it is pride, whether it is just the fun of the game as well. But there is a lot of money on the line in these games as Visuals sets up 9 points on the board, looking like they need to have a very big performance here if they want to start getting a slice of that money. And there it is. They get the elimination. They get the loot as well. The harpoon coming out. And they get what they need. They didn't get the big pot though, and looks like it's going to drop out now as this team is pushing through underneath it, and that's not a good spot. You've got 3 eyes on you, and they're in a pretty good position where they can keep this whole wall open and have just beautiful angles, sight lines straight down. As we've got a pretty weird zone here. It goes back. It's going back through the ruins. We haven't seen this yet, Monster. This is a new POI added with Fortnite. It's the authority with a little bit of a shake up on it, but how is that going to shake up this endgame?
Yeah, definitely. You can see height is already gone. They've done vacated out. They're gone. They're hit the rotate here. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch looking to set up their rotation. We already know they're going to look to go in this time around a little bit earlier. What makes it different from this time to the last time is that this is going over an old POI. They do this consistently, time and time again. Either they go late for different reasons because everyone has to move first, or if it's going to a POI, they go early and they secure some strong spots. They're doing it here again. It's kind of crazy how that's going to work out. Miro, Day, Reverse 2K though, the team that we said, the second place Warriors looking to come in and overthrow for first. They're making it further and further in the game consistently.
Yeah, they are, and this is going to be an interesting game. They're just skirting around the edge of the ruins here. They're not going to go through them at all. Those players going through is going to be the dangerous ones. They're in a really good position. They're not on high ground, but they're on a nice edge. There's no one to their west right now. They can keep that area pretty clear right now and just keep focusing forward. They're not going up. They're not looking down. They have such a good layer right now, and this is going to set them up into that end game. When you talked about it, Monster, those moments when, 30 seconds is the difference, they've set themselves up with so much breathing room with this giant tarp.
Definitely is a lot of room to work with to get that beautiful 3-camera box shot of all the player POVs to show how it's all working out. You get to see all their material counts as well. They're halfway through all of the stash here. 500 damage above the threshold though, so it is going to be okay as the tarp comes out. It's actually a dual shared tarp across right there. It's going to work out with Reverse 2K, but now the bouncer out. No, it was a double. That's a little bit of a mistake. He has to use his own. Miro, little bit of a misplay might cost Reverse 2K a lot of HP. Okay, he manages to actually survive it. Still though, they're back. A player in the low ground. Siphon's gonna come through. It's gonna be Commandment by himself.
Yeah, and they also just took down Jacques, Acorn, and Slacks. Can't remember which one it was, but they took one of the trio down as Zay fell in the feed as well. So high ground's not looking as clean as Miro is just walking through this lobby, showing why he is one of the best mechanical players out there right now. Takes down Magnolia, and he's pushing forward. Has that harpoon as well, so he can get through those wood walls. Upgrades from the epic pump to the legendary. Just that little bit scarier. Not that Miro needed to be any scarier, as they have 7 eliminations here in the mid ground. And again, Monster, so much control, so much room, so much area to work with to just dominate the rest of this lobby from the low ground.
100%. I mean, you let Miro go for a little bit. He's just gonna run. He's like a dog without a leash. He just goes. And you can see he doesn't need to be stopped. Look at that. He grabs the wall right here. Makes the edit. Doesn't even wait for it. And it's gonna work out. They're gonna find massive tags over and over here. And that is how he does it consistently. Literally showing that they can wipe up anyone on their lair.
He's just working them. That was just like good old jabs. He wasn't getting the big knockout punch, but it was just jab after jab with clean little edits, no damage back, and those players had no idea what was happening to them. They finished it off. The teammates managed to wrap around. They were just reeling, dazed and confused, and they get the eliminations, and we talk about it so much. They're not even in the finals, and I'm still going to talk about them. They're taking up the XZ mantle. They're low ground. They're playing it so well, and this team, full credit to them, have been doing this. They know how to play the low and mid ground as well. You very rarely see them on height, but one thing we did see last week, I'm seeing those 2 shockwaves. Reverse has one, Day has one, Miro doesn't. They managed to create a massive upset win from low ground, and that's what they were talking about. Reese talked about it earlier. From playing from low ground, the hardest part is how do you win the game, Monster? How do you dethrone the team above you? Shockwaves is always the answer.
Look at this. Even Miro going all the way down to the low ground, just taking a look around. He's actually going to fish out a med kit off in the distance. Comes up from out of the water and finds Furious. Oh my gosh. Way to just pop up and surprise someone with a big elim there. Now 3 shockwaves. Everyone is well equipped with shockwaves. The med kit is down, so they have everything, every play in the book right now.
This is it. This is what they needed. This is how they're going to be able to make their way up. If they start building separate boxes and they start spreading out, that's when you know you're looking for the shockwave up, because that's the way you can ruin it. If you're all on top of each other, you can't shockwave because you'll send each other too far out. The spray comes out. They're trying to get some information. I like this. They're not just straight shockwaving blind. They want to know what's happening above them. They want to make sure it's the right moment to do it, and they might not even need to. They have the low ground. It's going up, though. They need to make their way up. Are they going to build? Are they going to shockwave? Day answers. He's gone for the shockwave. He's coming up. Can he find someone? He's only got 34 health, 35 shield, and no, he gets taken out. Unfortunately, Knife is in there as well. Avery's there. Miro, he's so low, 9 HP. Can he find something? No, he can't. Reverse has to do this by himself, but he took down Avery. He gets the Cypher now. 3 teams alive, 6 players, so we got quite a few players in here who are trying to solo clutch it out. He goes down. It's Jamper on the high ground, and he managed to pick up the win with what looks like heals to spare, and Jamper, Booger, and Avery answered. They were your team on high ground.
Shy, this is now the second game. Last game, they placed second with 15 eliminations. They're going off.
Back-to-back seconds, back-to-back. Like, that is absolutely unheard of, Reese.
And their average eliminations right now after 4 games is 9,